Hi, I'm Mitch Miller from Rego Consulting, and today I'm going to show you a couple ways on how to troubleshoot fallout in the model by using the cost metric. So jumping right in, we're in 2BM Studio. If you click on Metrics and scroll down to Cost, and you click on that, it's going to pull up the model overview. Up here, if you click on this drop down and go to Diagram, it's going to show you a top-down view of your model of all the components that you currently have installed. Scrolling down here to the base of the model, we can see Cost Source. We can see dollars flowing into vendors and labor. We don't currently see anything flowing into fixed assets or other cost pools. To see if there's any fallout, if we click on this cost source, we're going to open this table view. If we expand this, we should be able to see a little bit more here. We can see here that we have the unique identifier of the cost source master data. We also see cost and any unassigned costs. So we right away see that we have fallout in this model. And over here is the percent assigned. So down here we can see that overall we have about 88.67% assigned. So if we come up here, there's a couple ways to do this. If you just punch in 0 here, you're going to see only the items that are not allocated at all. But a trick here is if you do less than 1, you're going to be able to see all of the fallout. And so anything that's not 100% allocated. So if you have anything that's being spread across multiple lines, sometimes you see numbers between 0 and 100. So this is going to capture all the fallout. So by doing this, we do see that $500,000 fallout, and we can kind of see here that we see some hardware depreciation, software depreciation, hardware depreciation. So we're seeing some foreshadowing on maybe where some of this fallout is happening. Another way to look at this is if you go back to the model overview, we can minimize this table view again. We can see anything with allocation lines that have this red exclamation point is telling us that we have objects that have under allocation or fallout. And so if you click on this, we can kind of see where the dollars are flowing. And we can also see this red dropout line here that's indicating that under allocation or fallout. The nice thing about the model overview is if you click on this over arrow, it's actually going to bring you into that development stage where we build out those allocation lines. And so here, let's again click on this fallout and just take a look again. By clicking on this, you're bringing in the unique identifier, and we're also bringing in a lot of this is logic that we typically build with. Here, we can see right off the bat that we have a lot of depreciation here that's falling out. So let's exit out of this and take a look at that allocation line. Knowing that depreciation typically flows to fixed assets, let's go ahead and click on this allocation line to see why it wouldn't be flowing. I like to start up top to the from, and I can initially see here that we have a filter here on cost subpool, and we see that it's already pulled in here, so that's great. When we do this, if we come over here, we can see that it says contains depreciation. So let's filter on that. And we can see that we do have that cost subpool here, that we do have cost subpools that have depreciation in it. But we see something here right away that this looks a little different. And we can see here that someone maybe had made a typo here. It looks like we're missing the R. So if we go ahead and type that in, the good thing about when you're building these in is that if you hit apply, you can do incremental changes. And so if you hit apply here, you can continue to keep this open and see if that corrects anything. So here we can see, again, if we filter on this depreciation, we can already start to see dollars flowing in here. The great thing about this percent allocated is we know that now 100% of the dollars are flowing. So we have removed all the fallout from this depreciation issue. If not, we would come down here and take a look at the weighted average and see if the cost centers. But it looks like we have 100% allocation, so it seems like we have solved this problem. So if we close this and look at the model, we can now see that this allocation line has about $500,000 flowing to it. But what we do also see is we still see a little bit of fallout left. So let's click on this fallout. Here we can see that the unique identifier external labor, you can see that it is not depreciation. You can see that it is labor and it is vendor. So let's exit out of here and see if there's anything that we can see that would be external labor. And by doing so, we do see this line right here where we see external labor. So by clicking on this allocation line, we can maybe determine on why we're not having these dollars flow through the model. So coming up here, we can see here that it says that the cost pool equals external labor. So if we come over here and we just start to type that in, we should be able to filter by that. And we do see that it is in the cost pool. So that is not going to be the issue. We do have cost pool here and we do have dollars here. And we can see down here is that $11,000 that is being filtered out. So if we want to go less than 1, we can just filter to that bottom. So now that we have that, we know that this is not the issue from the from. There's nothing here. There is something here in the to. So if we go here, we can't say that it says planned labor. And so that's something to look at in the destination on the unique identifier. So if we were to go there, we can see here that we can pull it in here. We can say, type that in and just make sure that we don't see anything. So that is not an issue out there. Now that we've looked at the from and to, we can come down here and we can save this for last. Let's look at the relationships. So if we go back to the source, we can see that it's on the cost pool, on the cost center, and vendor. And we already have those pulled in. So here we can see that external labor is the cost pool. We can see here that the cost center is CC335. And then we can also see this vendor ID is V2130. So let's just start right here at the cost pool. If we go here, we can see right here we have the cost pool. So let's go ahead and filter by that so we can narrow it down. Coming back again, we can see next we have CC-335. So if we come here, we say CC-335. We can see that we do not have this cost center at the destination. So this cost center with this cost pool does not exist in the labor. So we know that this is possibly the issue. But let's not stop there. Let's make sure that that's not the only issue. Let's go ahead and check that vendor just to be sure. So we have V2130. So if we type in V2130, we do have that vendor ID. So it does look like that cost center is the single issue here that's not allowing these dollars to flow forward. So what we need to do to solve this issue would be go to that labor master data and add in that 335 cost center. And once we do that, that will be able to be flowing forward. So we'll have that captured in that fallout. And once we do that, we'll have no more fallout from the cost source flowing into that first level. Thank you.